Hello, this is Ron Lugville, and today we're going to do a workout. I'm going to show you what I do for my workout, and this could be give you some ideas of how to do your own workout. And what I'll do is I'll just keep videoing, and during my breaks, I will just come and talk to you. So I'm going to start out with a good warm up. Warm up should be by the way, this is a body weight exercise I'm just doing in my own apartment at home. It's something you can do at home, easy. You don't even have to go to any gym. And I want to show you how you can do that. Warm ups should go from general to specific. In other words, you want to start out with something that'll just warm up, literally warm up your body and get the body moving, such as running in place, doing jumping jacks, burpees, something like that for a couple minutes, and then do a set or two of your first exercise, but with in an easier way, like not as much weight on the exercise, or just a simpler way to do the exercise to get the specific muscles involved in that exercise going. And once that's going, then you can do the rest of your workout. So yeah, I'll get started with little warm ups. Maybe do some burpees. Okay, and now do a little running in place. Get the whole body moving. Do some jumping jacks. And do some alternate toe touches. Okay, so now my body's warmed up. I can start my first exercise, which is going to be push-ups. Start out with a warm-up set of just regular push-ups, because the thing about these bodyweight exercises is that you need to have progressions to make them more difficult. Because otherwise you end up doing high reps. You end up doing 40, 50 push-ups. Well, you're not really working on your strength at that point if you got your reps that high. You want to keep the reps lower, like max 5. I really think max 5 reps. Now you could go up to 10 is a way to help make the progression, so then you got a few more reps in, can make the progression, but you want to keep the reps low. So we do things to make things more difficult. For example, with the push-ups, you can move to what I do, which is put my hands closer together on my push-ups, and it makes it harder. You can also do it with your legs raised. That makes the push-ups a little bit harder. You can also work towards doing one-arm push-ups, which of course is a lot harder. One way to do that, to work towards being able to do one-arm push-ups, would be to do a one-arm push-up against the wall. And let's see if I can show something like this. Or to do a one-arm push-up using a bench or a table, something like that. so you can make your progress and gradually lower, so you can then start working on one-arm push-ups, because otherwise just doing regular push-ups like I'm about to do, it's going to be it's not going to be working on strength. You're going to be working on endurance or hypertrophy, but not really working on strength at that point if your reps are that high. So I'll just do some regular push-ups. Now you try to keep your body flat, so you don't have your buttocks sticking up in the air like that. You also don't have some kind of sway back thing, but keep your body flat all the way down and back up. And with your elbows, you don't want to have your elbows flared like that. Same with bench press. You want to have your elbows maybe at about a 45-degree angle. That it's easier on your shoulders that way. And have your head in line with the rest of your body. Actually, that's an important thing pretty much with all exercise, is to work on your posture. Your body works better when it's aligned, when it's in good posture. Not that my posture is that great, but what you can do at the beginning of your workout is stand up on your tippy toes like this, and then keep your head right where it is and gradually lower the heels down to the ground. That kind of pulls your shoulders back and aligns your body a little bit better. Do that maybe a couple of times. Up on your tippy toes, and then gradually let the heels back down to the ground. Pretend that there's a string on the top of your head, and you're just holding that in place and getting the rest of the body in line. So the shoulders, head, neck, spine, everything is lined up with the stomach tucked in and the body in line. Because that's the way your body's designed to move and works best, is pretty much with every exercise, pretty much with every sport. You want to have that body aligned. So I did a warm-up set on the push-ups, and now I'll do some push-ups with my hands closer together. It's kind of an alternative to doing triangle push-ups, which are like this. But the problem is, if I do this, my elbows tend to flare more. And so I do it like this so that my elbows are more at that 45-degree angle in the push-up like I was talking about, but it's still more difficult this way. So all right. So I'll do some push-ups. I'm just doing sets of 2. Like I said, you want to keep the reps kind of low, but do multiple sets. So that's 1 set of 2 reps. You don't have to go all the way down. In particular, you don't want to do this thing where you stick in your nose. There's no nose requirement on this. Keep your head aligned and lead with your chest on the push-ups to keep your body aligned as you go down and up. So let me try another set of push-ups. There. Okay. I'll do one more set on the push-ups. Some other alternatives you can do on push-ups would be plyometric push-ups, where you actually go up in the air, you push yourself off and go up in the air. I can demonstrate that here. That's another alternative to work on your power on the push-ups, is to do the plyometric push-ups. That You want to be well warmed up for that, but you probably want to do those towards the beginning of your workout as opposed to later, and you want to stick with low reps. Some people do plyos, like jump squats and plyometric push-ups, with high reps as a weight loss tool, but you're not working on your power if you're going on those kind of reps. That if you want to work on your power, again, you want to keep the reps low, like 5 reps max. All right, so let me do another set of the push-ups with my hands close together. There we go. Okay. And another principle of training is you want to work opposing muscles. That so, for example, if you're working on pushing like this with the push-ups, then you also want to work on something that's pulling to work the opposing muscles. And so I do inverted rows. It's also called Australian push-ups, or anyway, that what I do, well, you'll see. I just get 2 chairs and I went to the hardware store and got the shovel handle, just the handle part, and put it across 2 chairs, and boom, I've got a inverted row pull-up bar. And so I use that to do some inverted rows with here. Get a chair. And then another chair. And just put my shovel handle across there. And I'll do a couple sets of inverted rows there to work my opposing muscles, to work on the pulling muscles that I just worked on the pushing muscles. So okay, that's one set. One set on the inverted rows. I'll do maybe 3 or 4 sets. That's 2 sets. Okay, that's some inverted rows. As you can tell, it's kind of a jimmy rigged thing that some people do them on squat racks at the gym, that you can just set an empty bar on the squat rack and do them that way. You can also just get underneath a table and grab the underside of a table and pull yourself up, do inverted rows that way. You can also have, if you got people with you, just have 2 people holding the bar, and then you can just do your inverted rows with 2 people holding it. That's another way to do it. You can also buy a bar. There's specially made bars for this sort of thing, and use those. But I just got a $10 shovel handle, and I use that. And now I'm going to do some Pike push-ups, which is another push-up alternative. This one um, works the shoulders and the back from a different angle. That it's more kind of overhead pushing as opposed to pushing in front of you. Um, that you really put your buttocks up in the air is what happens, and kind of go down, back up. I'll do a couple sets of those to just work a different movement, a pushing movement. That's the pike push-up. If you get good at doing those, you can do the push-ups up against the wall, where you handstand push-ups. Um, that's a more difficult version, where you're pushing overhead using body weight. I'm telling you these different variations because that's what you need to do with body weight exercises, because you can't just add weight to it like you do when you're lifting weights. These are great functional exercises you can do at home without any equipment. As you can see, I have like literally zero equipment except for a shovel handle maybe. And that and you can do the handstand push-ups with like zero equipment also. And but these are super effective. This is not like second rate. These are not second rate exercises. It's just most people don't know how to do the variations. You can go on another YouTube channel and just go on YouTube and Google push-up variations, or any of these exercises, so you can get an idea of the progressions, so that you can keep progressing, because you get stronger, but keep the reps in a lower range, so you keep working on strength. That's the key. You want to keep that rep range low to keep working on strength. Otherwise, you're kind of working on hypertrophy. If you're doing, say, 15 to 20 reps, if you're doing 20 more reps, you're kind of working on endurance, but it's not a very transferable endurance. In other words, it's not going to transfer to your endurance in your sport very well. That you're better off working on strength and working on power, and that will help you more with your sport. So let me do another set of the pike push-ups. All right. That whatever sport you're in, strength is paramount. Strength will help you in your performance. Pretty much every sport, strength to weight ratio is one of the best predictors of your performance in that sport. If you know, obviously, if you know the skills of your sport, if you're skilled at your sport, you're good at it. That strength to weight ratio is super important. It's also kind of a foundation. What happens is your body won't make the adaptations you would like to your sport if it doesn't have the general overall strength. In other words, you think, oh, yeah, but I do this weird sport where all I do is like this motion, or all I do is, this motion. And so all I need to do is train this motion or that motion. But your body doesn't see it that way. Your body thinks, oh no, scary. This guy's doing this like all the time. And so my body's getting way out of balance. So I better not let that overdevelop that weird motion. And so it stops you. It stops your athletic development if you don't have the overall strength. And so you think, oh, well, I'm just a cyclist. I don't need any upper body strength. I mean, don't worry about upper body strength. But your body will actually not develop to its full capacity if you don't have the overall strength. You don't have to be like a bodybuilder. I'm not teaching you bodybuilding stuff. You're not going to get, I'm intentionally trying to keep the reps low so that you don't get the big muscles. The big muscles come from a more middle range. Yeah, you will get some definition to your muscles, and you're not going to look like a total wimp. But but you're not going to get the huge muscles. Bodybuilders intentionally do exercises in a particular rep range, in a particular way, and particular types of exercises that are designed to make their muscles big. And so that's actually what you don't want to do. Most guys go to the gym, that's what they do. And that's why strength training has gotten a bad reputation among some athletes, because they think of it as bodybuilding. And no, you're absolutely right. You don't want to do bodybuilding, but you do want to do strength training, which when you go to the gym, almost nobody's doing. There's nobody there training for strength. There's no strength and conditioning coach in the gym. That it's a bunch of guys who don't really know what they're doing, and a couple guys who do know what they're doing, but that's because they're doing bodybuilding. And it's kind of the same with all these YouTube videos you see. They're mainly designed for people. When they say building muscle, they mean bodybuilding. You're trying to get bigger muscles, and that's not what you're trying to do. You're trying to get maximum strength, power, speed for your sport. So that's what we're aiming for here. Let me do one more set of the Pike push-ups, because I have to do some rest between sets, and so I'll come back here and chat with you a little bit each time between sets. Okay, little Pike push-ups. And I'd like to say 3 reps is really a minimum. It's better to keep, 3 sets is really a minimum. You want to be doing something more like 5 sets of 3 would be a good kind of workout. If you get above that, say you can do 6 sets of 3, then find a new variation so that it's a little bit harder. And then, the next time you go, you can do just 1 rep and maybe 3 or 4 sets of the new variation. Say, where you work on 1-arm push-ups, for example, or you can do these same body weight exercises just with weight on. That you can get a backpack, stuff it full of books, put that on your back or on your front, say, for some of the exercises, and that'll give you a little bit, make the exercise a little bit harder, so you'll be working on your strength a little bit more. Constantly doing things to make it a little bit harder so that you're working on strength. So the reps are low, because otherwise you get those reps up like 15, 20 reps, and you're not working on strength anymore. You're working on something else. And so we're really trying to keep it concentrated. The other beautiful thing with these body weight exercises is you instantly get feedback on your strength to weight ratio, which is what you're really aiming for. If you're lifting weights in the gym and you feel great, yeah, that's cool. I just, benched 250 pounds. Oh, I just did heavy squat, 350. I'm deadlifting like 375. I'm really strong. I'm doing great. But it turns out, well, yeah, you're stronger, but you're also heavier. You gained like 10 pounds. And so your strength to weight ratio may be about the same. Whereas you go and do some 1-arm push-ups, and you do some handstand push-ups, do some pistol squats, you've got this great strength to weight ratio. Yes, you have some justifiable pride that you can do these great exercises that help your strength, but you also know you've got the strength to weight ratio going. That's what's really going to help you in your sport. Not with the exception of a few sports like maybe football, where it's just the pure strength that's probably more important. But most sports, it's the strength to weight ratio that's important. You want to have super strong muscles, but not be carrying extra weight around. And these body weight exercises are great for that. The other thing that's great for that is sprinting, short sprints, say 10-second sprints, 20-second sprints, 30-second sprints, short all-out sprints, that it will help you get faster, 1, and 2, lose the fat. That it'll help you get your body fat percentage down a little bit to help you with that whole strength to weight ratio thing. I'm not talk about any of this in terms of aesthetics, as you can tell, but I'm looking at it from more a sport performance point of view. But yeah, you want to keep the strength to weight ratio really good, and you want to keep the body fat percentage down. That said, you don't want to be doing extreme dieting because you can lose some muscle uh, as, as well as the fat if you're doing something sort of extreme. I would note, however, this exercise I'm doing in the morning before I've eaten. And I think that helps also with the fat burning effect if you do it in a fasted state. In other words, you do it in the morning before you've had anything to eat, so that you're not burning carbohydrates that you have stored because you don't have that many. You get into fat burning mode a little bit better. So that's a little bit beneficial, I think, to do first thing in the morning. But if you can't do it then, if it works out some other time during the day that works in your schedule, you can do it then also. I wouldn't recommend it right before bed. If you do it in the evening, it gets your body kind of revved up, and it's harder to sleep at that point right after you've exercised. So, but any other time of the day, I think is very good. And I was just doing this once a week, and now I've switched to twice a week but I'm old. Younger athletes or people that are, the 3 times a week is what people normally recommend. You want to have good recovery between your workouts. Probably 48 hours of recovery would be optimal. It varies depending on the person. See what works for you. But with 3 workouts a week may be ideal, but you're probably getting 99% of the benefit with just 2 workouts a week. You're probably getting about 90% of the benefit with just 1 workout a week. So you're getting a ton of benefits with just 1 workout a week if you can do that. So I do these series of bodyweight exercises, and then I go out and run just 3 sprints, maybe 20 seconds or so with complete rest between my sprints. So, all right. So that is I did push-ups, I did inverted rows, and I did Pike push-ups. And now I'm going to do some squats and some pistol squats. I can't really do a pistol squat, but that's something to work towards. A pistol squat is you do a 1-leg squat and just have your other leg in front of you. So I'll show you, but I'm only going to be able to go down a couple inches on this, and then I'll do some double leg squats as well. Okay, that's my attempt at, I do the range of motion that I can do on the pistol squats. I'll do some double leg squats. Here, you want to make sure that your knees aren't coming in and that your back is pretty straight on this. You don't want to have your lower back sticking out a little bit. And so I actually don't go down that far. I go down to maybe almost parallel. People have different thoughts about this. Some feel that you need to go all the way down. Some feel that that's what Olympic lifters need to. They generally go all the way down. It takes some mobility in order to do that. I don't have that mobility. If you're going to be doing that, you got to work on your ankle mobility, because otherwise you're going to get your spine's not going to be aligned. You're going to get what they call butt wink when you go down, and that is dangerous. You can hurt yourself. So the power lifters just go down to parallel so that their thighs are parallel to the floor. That's kind of become the standard for a lot of people. And there are some strength and conditioning coaches that say, well, for my sport, for running, jumping, we're only using the top part of that range of motion. So that's all I have my athletes do. They call it a sports squat or half squat, where they only go, down 45 degrees or so. They don't go down to the 90 degrees that a power lifter has to go down to, because that's the range of motion that they actually, that's probably more than the range of motion they normally do in their sport when they're sprinting or when they're jumping, and they can use heavier weights than on that upper range of motion. It's a little more sport specific. But anyway, I'm just going to do some air squats or body weight squats, some sets of 5 of those, which you will find it's good as a starting point, but you'll soon outgrow that. It will be too easy for you, so you can move to the one-legged squats, or you can do, you can put a backpack on, put a bunch of books on it, do that, or you can grab a dumbbell and hold it like this, called a goblet squat, and do your squats that way. But if you really want to get strong in the squat, you want to do the pistol squats probably, or you go to the gym and get in the squat rack and put some heavy weights on it and practice that. So I do a couple of air squats now, a couple sets of air squats. Okay. All right, so that's some squats to work the glutes, lower body. I cut the rest a little bit short. For one, the air squats are not that hard, so I don't need that much rest. I usually prescribe just to do complete rest on every exercise. In other words, don't go in the next exercise when you're still tired. Anything that would limit your performance on the next exercise, just wait until you're doing better. And now I do a series of ab exercises. And I intentionally do that at the end because the other exercises are compound exercises that they work more than one joint, like the push-ups, the inverted rows, and the pike push-ups work. And same with the squats, are all really good compound exercises, whereas the core or ab exercises work, they work different muscle groups in the core. They're good for conditioning, but I generally put these at the end of the workout. The other thing you can do is some exercises that will help you prevent injury in your sport. That a lot of sports have, like shoulder injuries are common, and so you want to do some exercises that will help prevent shoulder injuries in your sport, or knee injuries. That you want to incorporate some of those, and usually do those afterwards because they're normally not compound exercises. However, if you are generally strong, this is counterintuitive. Strength helps prevent injuries. Now repeat that. Strength helps prevent injuries. People think that flexibility helps prevent injuries. Well, they're wrong. Flexibility does not prevent injuries. That it can actually, having too much flexibility can actually make you more injury prone. That the strength helps keep the stronger muscles help keep your body in the proper range of motion. That it doesn't like all of a sudden get yanked like some weird way in your sport, and then you end up getting injured because your muscles are strong enough to resist that yanking. So all these exercises we're doing are injury prevention exercises, not just strengthening, but they also help prevent injury. And it's good to work the opposing muscles because often injuries There are often overuse injuries that come from over exercising one type of movement and not having a more general balanced body. So if all you're ever doing is your tennis swing, um, that's how people get the tennis elbow or whatever. Same with a lot of other sports. You're only doing that one motion, you're real likely to get an overuse injury from that. So you want to do something like this. Some body weight exercises, some strengthening exercises to be more generally strong, to be more generally developed, so you won't have as much of a chance of getting overuse injury. So, okay, ab exercises. Let's see. Oh, I start out with a couple different forms of planks. I start out with normal plank, but I raise an arm and then the opposing leg, and then I switch. I do Superman, which is, I consider it to be a form of plank. I do a side plank where I'm on my side, resting on my arm, my forearm, and then I raise an arm and a leg, and then repeat and do that on the other side. So let me do a couple. Oh, and I do a reverse plank where I'm facing up, doing a plank. That these all like target different various muscles in your core, and so I just go through one set of each of these to kind of get a little bit more general core development with lots of different muscles, so it's balanced development. Okay. Plank. Other side. Side plank. Other side. I'm going through these a little bit quickly. I don't want you to get bored. You just hold each one as long as you can. Let's see. Reverse plank. Superman. Yeah, just hold each of those as long as you can. And if it's another one of these things, if they become too easy, find a variation that'll make it a little bit harder, a little bit more strengthening for you. That's why I do, like for the planks, I do an arm up and opposing leg up, because otherwise you just stay in that plank position for 2 minutes. Well, it's not super effective. You're kind of working on endurance at that point with your core, and really we're trying to get strength, not endurance. So you need to keep challenging yourself. Okay. All right, next I'm gonna do, I'll do some sit-ups. I know a lot of people say sit-ups aren't great because you use momentum to do them, and I know I use momentum, but I think it still does provide some strengthening, so I still do them. Here. Okay, that's some sit-ups. I'll do some bicycle crunches now. I touch elbow to opposing knee, just kind of alternate those. Alright, that's a bicycle crunch. Let's see. What else? I'll do. I'll do this. I'll lay on my back and do alternate touching with my right hand to my left toe, left hand to my right toe, and this is another good core exercise. Alright, that one's a killer. And I'll do some leg lifts now, where I lift the legs quickly and then lower them slowly. Once they get all the way down, lift them back up quickly. That the slow eccentric or lowering motion is really good, but then have a quick upward motion. Okay, so that I'll do some cool down exercises at this point. Some easy yoga or stretching exercises. And a downward dog, standing forward bend, wide leg forward bend. And a standard forward bend. And then the wide leg forward bend. Okay. And now I go out and run some sprints. Some short sprints with complete rest in between, just in the street outside my house. That's what I do for kind of general body weight training. That it's real good all around kind of exercise for any sport, or for no sport, just to kind of stay in shape. Which at this point, I'm not super competitive in any sport, but I do like to stay in shape somewhat. So this is what I do on a regular basis, and I think it will be helpful. You can adapt it to your needs, to your sport, to your. But this is something I would highly recommend. Is doing. You don't need a gym. You don't need any other help with this. That I would suggest you have someone watch you, or send them some videos so you can see if you're doing proper technique. That I haven't done that, so I may not have been using proper technique. Let me know in the comments if I did something wrong. But I think these are good general exercises for you to do. And make sure you subscribe to my channel, like this video, and comment whatever you think. Okay, thank you. Bye.